Welcome to the Le Twins Inspired Podcast. I'm Claudia, and this is a place where we gather stories about our favorite artists, Le Twins, to talk about how they have impacted our personal life and culture at large. My guest today is the beautiful Mine. She is an author and a Bible teacher. In this conversation, she talks about her story and how the twins have entered her life in a moment of profound darkness and how she has found healing and reconciliation by watching them and later on starting to attend their events. It is a really beautiful story, and we're going to touch on some delicate subjects, so trigger warning here. But she's going to talk about very specific freestyles and especially specific moments of some freestyles that have been particularly powerful for her in a very beautiful spiritual way. This is the first part of our conversation. The second part is going to be released a little bit later on, but for now, I hope you enjoyed as much as I have enjoyed recording it. Hello, Mine. Welcome.
Hi, Claudia.
How are you doing?
Welcome. I am wonderful. I am really good. Thank you for having me here today. And thank you for this very important work that you're
Thank you.
doing in connecting the Lay Twins International family. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I
Yes.
I appreciate when people see the value behind it. So thank you for your words.
I've enjoyed hearing the stories and learning from them, and each one of them has really been engaging and
Mm.
and stirring, and
Mhm.
just getting a little peek inside of the life of the people that you click likes on their story,
Yes, I agree.
and you're chatting with people across the waters and even next door to you, but you don't know it
Yeah.
until you listen at a podcast like, oh, she's from Tennessee, that's really close, that's where Clarksville is,
Mhm.
like, this is my neighbor.
Or another one that I like is like when somebody lives on the other side of the world, but yet you feel connected with them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Where are you from? Like, where are you based in the States, and where are you from?
I'm currently in Texas.
Uh-huh.
I've been in Texas going on maybe 6 years. It's becoming home. Came here from Chicago, and I'm not like, I'm a very introverted person. I don't get out a lot,
Mhm.
so I should get out. Being in these cities, but I've just kind of moved around a bit.
Mhm.
So it's kind of hard for me to call a certain place
I feel
home,
like it's a
but I'm
thread
feeling
of like the twins fans who are actually very introverted people. I hear it
yes.
through and through of people being like, I'm actually so introverted. I'm like, yeah, I think we all are. Like a lot of us are.
It is so true, and that's one of the things that I admire about them. I am living
Mm.
vicariously through them,
Yes.
and I feel like I
Yeah.
wonder where they're gonna take me to, this week. And they are so well received everywhere,
Yeah.
and I laugh at myself because, like, I am sitting on my sofa watching them behind the screen, and I am laughing and smiling and and I feel like when these people are hugging them, maybe I'm getting a hug some kind of way, and I have to like shake myself, girl, get a grip, girl, you know.
Actually, let's start from the beginning. How did you get into them? How did they catch your eye?
Well, let's make this agreement. If I start to get emotional, crack a joke, okay?
Okay,
Because
look,
like,
and another thing,
yeah,
yeah,
do
people
that.
get emotional on the podcast, and sometimes I get emotional too as a result. So it's totally
Yeah,
okay.
like
Go for it. The no shame. I actually think it's a beautiful thing.
I knew about the twins, but they were doing this thing with Beyonce, and I'm like, oh, okay, nice. Whatever reason didn't lock into them, but then pandemic happened, and so I'm an Irish twin, and my sister was going through something, and long story short, she had this depression, but because like we didn't have parents, so a great aunt somewhat adopted us, right?
Right.
My mom was died during a surgery when I was the baby, right?
I see.
So just kind of think,
Mm.
okay, here are these two little babies. Who's going to take care of them, right?
Mm.
And so, and that's trying to give you an idea of it was just the two of us,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm. Your
you
connection.
know, they
Yeah.
they dre they dressed us as twins. We had to do the same thing, like, people wouldn't call us by our name individually because supposedly they couldn't tell us apart, so they would just
Mm.
call us by both of our names, right?
Wow.
So that kinda
Yeah.
that kinda thing. But anyway, like, if someone wasn't calling me my sister's name, they were calling me my mother's name, who was deceased.
Mm.
And it was I felt like it was this, like, erasure of me, or there
Sure.
was no existence of me. Like, who is this dead lady you all keep telling me about? Of course, I say that with respect, so I had all these abandonment issues, yada, yada, yada. But anyway, fast forward, some years, you kind of want to, like, I got to separate.
Mhm.
Like, I cannot live my life, maybe unseen, or the other twin, or I don't, you just, it was a separation, right? But
Right.
anyway, not a bad separate, but I'm not one person with you. I mean, I don't know how to
Yeah,
explain
you
it
have
other
your
than
own
that.
identity.
Anyway, she got into this dark place. And at first, I was dealing with these feelings. Is this emotional manipulation? What is going on? So she called me one day, and she was Sunday morning, really awkward conversation. It didn't feel right. And so she actually had this plan to unalive herself.
I see.
So I had her on the phone, and I just said, hold tight, because we were in two different states.
Mhm.
And, I had, praise God, the wits about myself, let me get the suicide hotline on hold, right?
Mhm.
And so we were doing this three-way with the hotline. She was able to get some help, and they don't let you off the phone. And so that was that intervention. And so then she went through all of this therapy, which was really good. But I had all this time, like, I didn't realize the effect, I guess, that it would have on me afterwards. And maybe I didn't know. So, like, if the phone ring, you get tense, you don't know what somebody's going to say on the phone. Or I even remember thinking a lot, like, was I not Larry enough for her? Once I did
Mm.
find the twins. But anyway,
Mm.
all this kind of happened right at 20, and I was quarantined. So I had this time to be with these thoughts, you know.
Mhm.
But but anyway, I was on my couch one day just scrolling on the phone, and Tracee Ellis Ross had made the post of the twins doing the dance Last Stand. And
Mm.
I mean, I cannot even tell you, like, this was like the moment is I literally stood up, and I remember walking in a circle. I didn't even know where I was going, but I stood up because I was feeling stuff, right?
Mm. Mhm.
It was kinda like chiropractic, a shattering and alignment,
Wow.
like, you hear this? I can't explain it. I literally stood up and was walking around in circles. I remember this moment, like, I was watching Lo, like, 'cause he came out first, and it's like he was laying, like, how do you lay back standing up?
Mhm.
And I
Yeah, with
remember
his
that's the
knees. Yeah,
first
but
thing
yeah.
that caught me, like, "What is going on here?"
Mhm.
You know? And it was not like this was like an
Intentional.
intentional eternity. And I'm like, I was speechless, like, "What? How?"
Mm.
I was breathless, like, "How?" And then he's like he moved up. He was just moving, and it's in the movement, and it captured me, and I watched it. Then Larry came, and, like, oh my god, it was just like everything about it was so holy to me, because when he came off the stairs, like, he knelt on the floor, and he was using, if you take your index finger from the knuckle of your index finger to the tip
Mhm.
and your thumb, and his body weight was on the finger, and then he was like he circled the floor with his finger, and like, it was so scriptural to me, I'll say, when
Yes.
he was doing that. For me, it was like a John 8 moment, and you have to just
Oh
go
my
over there
God.
and read that because
Yes.
it's like, you know stories and you know characters in your stories, but sometimes you don't have the pictures, they're just the words.
Mhm.
So, like, for me, I could see pictures now, the way they were moving. I'm like, I've read this story. This is John 8. I've read this, but I see this movement. I see this. So then, like in the song, and I guess it's just their connection, like Larry was getting up and Lo had him by the thumb and the index finger, like he was picking him up. And he just like, you know how you operate puppets, those little things by the
Mhm,
strings
mhm.
from the top?
Yes.
And it's like he is holding his twin's finger, right? Like, how is this happening? And I see the strength of them. You start to, it's like he's literally getting up like that, like kind of unassisted, and it's like Lo really just tapped him. That's really all you did,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
And so then they started dancing, and it's like I could see them back in the womb together, because they were like touching each other so close, and they do
Yeah.
these little hugs,
Yeah.
like they act like they're in the womb together. And I could just see and I could just feel something so familiar that I really couldn't put into words. And I'm telling you, this was on a weekend. I was speechless. I cannot tell you how many times I watched that video. Right to this moment, it's my favorite. But
Okay.
it's something about the twins, like they can take other people's work
Yeah.
to another level,
Yeah, they elevated
you
for
know,
sure.
change it all around, like I've seen them support projects and help other people, like from the back, but before you know it, it's them. It's
Yes.
like, wait a minute, this is the Late Twins concert. Like,
Mhm.
I know Beyonce was there, but this is really the Late Twins concert.
That was somebody was telling me about the Derulo concert, that it feels like it's a Litwins concert and Derulo is there.
And
So
you know what?
yeah.
Let me say this, like this weekend, shout out to Lily Bunny. I hope I'm saying
Yes.
it right.
Yes.
And not
Love
just
her.
Lily Bunny. I mean, Esther, Lola, Eva Edits, and I don't want to get into naming names or forget somebody,
Mhm.
like, all of the edits that come through, I appreciate
Me
seeing
too.
all of them.
Yes.
Sunday Rico, like
Yes.
the ones Belinda sends out.
Mhm.
But when Lily Bunny was sending these things out, only thing I could think of was like, dang, this girl is my friend. Like I love this chick.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
she did so excellent. It's like because when I was watching him do "Oh God, Only God Can Judge Me," like hold it together, girlfriend, hold
Mm,
it together. That is
so
so
beautiful.
beautiful. He did it 3 different ways. Like he is like my favorite dancer because he keeps his arms open
Mhm.
a lot, and for me that's like symbolism for like being open-hearted,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and then
Beautiful.
he does
Mm.
he does his death drop thing,
Yeah.
and he does not bump. He's did a spin on the vertices of the stage. There's a step,
Mhm.
and and then another one, he had a little silver glove, and he
Yes.
didn't do the drop. And the first thing that came to mind was, wait a minute, he didn't do the death drop. And I think for whatever, I'm just always waiting for that because it's my favorite thing.
Mhm.
One of my favorite things.
Mhm.
But anyway, it's like I thought about they use every moment, like every body part, so to speak, for a message or for a purpose, if that
Yes.
makes sense.
Yes.
Because like, and I gotta hold it together talking about Larry and Piccadilly because like,
That's a powerful one for many.
I mean,
Yeah.
I I've suffered, I mean, well, not suffered, I've struggled, with weight issues. And you kind of do things like I gotta keep my weight down,
Mhm.
like get it together. And like he was doing this dance in Piccadilly and he always leaning on one foot and he's doing this move with his hands. And it's like all thing I can see is like, how do you know what I'm doing to lose weight? And
Hmm.
it's like it just spoke to me and it's like, don't do
Hmm.
this. This is not healthy,
Hmm.
like let this go kind of thing,
Mm.
and it
Oh,
has
that's so
nothing.
interesting that just the movement and the energy that he was conveying just hit you like that, like, on a personal level with a personal message.
And I remember these things. Just because of some kind of way that they moved, and I can't explain it other than it's just what I feel. And it's like at last stand because it was so powerful. It's like Lo is holding his hand like the Vulcan
Yeah,
thing. It's like
at
live
the
long and
yeah,
prosper.
yeah.
Like, yeah,
Mm,
who's thinking of, and see, I thought I was dancing when I was in the club, but no, ma'am. You you you're moving, but you're not dancing.
mm,
And I learned that from these twins because if your body is not speaking and transferring a message, you're not dancing. You're not. And
exactly,
so it's like
exactly.
I'm I'm glued watching, like, what am I going to get? How am I going to be inspired? What are they going to say? You know? And I could not. I remember and this is watching them do the last stand in Piccadilly. The first it was like on a Friday. I could not leave my living room to go to the bathroom because I put on YouTube. I found any and everything Lay Twins. But I'm telling you, I couldn't go to the kitchen. I couldn't go to
Yeah.
the next room. It was like if I needed some water, let me pick up the television and take it with me or something. Like,
Yes.
and I said to myself, I'm quarantined, like it was a pandemic. I
Mhm.
said, I gotta see, I have to see these people.
Yeah,
That's the only thing I could say. I said, I have to shake their hands. And I've never been, because I'm not a idol celebrity kind of
person,
person,
yeah.
like we both bleed the same color blood, we put our pants on the same way, so it was
Yeah,
nothing
you sound pretty
like that.
grounded. Yeah, yeah.
But down on the inside of me, I was like, I gotta meet these. I
Mm,
have to shake their hands, and and I've never had a bucket list, and this is when I created my bucket list, and this was the only thing on it,
mm,
only thing. And so I started. I was like, let me find them, and that's how I got into the family on Instagram because I started following them because like, where are they going to be?
right, yeah.
How am I going to get there? You know? So, first one was Canada because I was going to Dubai, and this is how serious it was because they were doing just a debut pandemic.
Ah, in
And when they said
Dubai,
it,
yes.
and being locked in my bubble, and what I admire about Larry, because during the pandemic, Larry named 19 different locations in one video. And he named locations in 6 continents that he was going to. And it was like the way he said it, and it rolled off his tongue like water, like, how we normal people say, I'm going to the grocery store, I'm going to Kroger. Larry is like, I'm going to Japan.
Brazil, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I love that so
I'm
much.
leaving I'm leaving Japan. I'm going to Amsterdam. I'm going to the
Yeah.
Netherlands. The more he says it, it's like I'm feeling small. And then I'm thinking, and it's like, I guess, another one of those shattering things. And it goes back to having exposure. And I'm thinking, what does his passport look like? And when he was saying it, he was so serious. It was not.
Yeah, yeah. He wasn't
It,
exaggerating or
it wasn't flexing. It was
no.
not flexing.
Yeah.
You know how you have some of these celebrities, like one of those celebrities was trying to pretend like he was flying somewhere and he was just on a plane. And I think it was, I don't want to call his name, but anyway, he got busted because he really wasn't doing it. He had fixed his background to look like he was somewhere,
Mhm.
because you're trying to fool people.
Mhm.
These people are serious. If they are all, and not to say that nobody else is going, but they take it to a different level because you adapt to where you're going, and then you start speaking their language, affirming them, and it's like what I like about them, like they love people. Period. everywhere,
They connect so easily
and
with people.
Low speaking Chinese to somebody like he was sitting in the audience on one of those videos, and I'm telling you, like, I couldn't even look, I was spelling Dubai DOOBY, you know. I had to get, like, let me pull out the map, I was scrapping, it got canceled.
Yeah.
It got canceled, but I'm telling you, I was getting ready to pull whatever it is I had to pull it together and still felt that way, and I think it was triggering, like, these abandonment issues that I have.
Mm.
I was like, with this death thing looming, and that's a whole different conversation,
Mhm.
I was like, I don't know if I have time.
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't know if I have time, you know?
Yeah.
I have to, I just have to.
Mhm.
So
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Part 2 is going to be released soon. And in the second part, mine is going to talk to us about how she has met the twins and the workshops and events that she has attended. Articulate she is in expressing the depth of the feeling and healing they have helped bring into her life. If you want to support the podcast, please like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment. Let me know if you would like to be on it. Spread the word. Just helps making the podcast reach more people. So thank you very much for listening. See you all next time.